tonight. How brave.
Like, see Jojo sing a couple years back when my mom and dad were still together. And my mom...
Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Retro Alliance Gaming Presents The Horror Corner. How are you all doing today? So, in our past episodes when you've seen me sitting in front of the camera, generally I'm going to tell you a scary tale of something supernatural or weird that's actually happened in my life. And mind you, I will continue to do this in the future, but I kind of wanted to mix it up a little bit. And I wanted to do something extra interesting for the month of October being Halloween. So what we have done for you today is we have found 4 of our friends, Etno and I, from around the United States who are going to guest star and each tell you their own story of something creepy or scary that's happened to them. Our 4 friends we're going to present today is Adam. He is a YouTuber. He was our friend that we met when we were doing Repo, the Genetic Opera, which was a Shadowcast show in Las Vegas. Amazing guy. You're going to meet Jojo. She is an absolutely adorable little thing. Beautiful. She is Etno's friend. Wonderfully supportive, and she's coming to us today to tell us all her wonderful story. We have Gabriel, who I actually met through DJ. Kind of met them both at the same time. He is a YouTuber. We have become friends. He's a really awesome guy, and he allowed us to be able to tell his story today. And for the finale, my friend Javier, my best friend Javier, he runs the Gamers Addict show.
He's a complete nerd.
And he is a complete nerd in every possible way you could imagine, yay to us. And he's going to join us to go ahead and tell you a tale today. So this should be really, really exciting. I don't know why I went like that. Is that creepy? Really, really, really exciting.
You smiling would be creepy.
That's not creepy. Is that creepy? For our first story today, coming from our friend Adam, he's going to be telling you a tale called The Fisherman. To not give too much away, this story is about a man that has come to him and his family in their dreams and been haunting them for quite a while. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Adam Yeager. If you don't know me, that's my name. If you do know me, hi again. I'm going to tell you a scary story that has happened to me, and hopefully not to a lot of other people, which is tonight's the perfect night to do it because it's lightning out, and I'm actually really afraid of lightning, so it works out. Have you ever watched those scary movies in When a Stranger Calls or something where the survivor pretty much has a traumatic experience and then they wake up and they're in a hospital or something or in their bedroom, and it seems like it could be a dream, and then they turn the corner and bam, there's the killer, and then they kill them, and then they wake up again in the same place they woke up before, and then you're like, are they safe, or is the killer there again? And then they go crazy, and you're like, that could happen. So I've had an experience like that. I've never been chased by anybody before, but I one time went to bed and was having this dream, and I had a dream that I was back in my old place in Michigan where I grew up. And I was going up to the house that we used to live in, and there was this old man, fisherman dude, trying to break into our house. And I was being brave and was like, what are you doing to my house? Why are you breaking in? And he turned to me, and he gave this look, and it was terrifying. It was the most terrifying feeling I've ever had in a dream. The fisherman you couldn't see his eyes, it came down, and he had white long hair, and it just scared the crap out of me, and I went to scream, but there was this festival happening at the local park next to my house, so no one could hear me, and so I decided to run from him, and I ran into the festival, and I was trying to run from him, and all I could see was him, and he was coming after me, and me, of course, watching a horror movie, you know, those people that are like, why would you do this? I decided it was smart to run into the forest and get away from him because I felt safe, I guess. When you're in a dangerous situation, I guess you do what you feel, and sometimes it's not the smartest idea, but I guess it works. And I ran into the forest and I saw this dog. And they say, in anything, if you see a dog, or even in real life, they say to you that dogs are protectors. They're your safe place. And I didn't know that. And I saw this dog, and then I looked up and I saw him. And I woke up in my room that I'm in now. I live in Nevada, and I woke up in my room, and I normally have my TV going. So my TV was going, everything looked the same, everything was where it was, and I look up, and the fisherman is right there at the end of the bed, and he said, "You're next." And I woke up again, and the TV is the exact same part that I woke up to in the dream, but the only difference was there was no fisherman. And it freaked me out for a while, and it turns out my family had seen the fishermen before too, and they all said the same thing. It freaked them out, and probably not, they weren't having dreams of him, but yeah, it was creepy for a while, and but the thing I've learned after years of seeing things, it's best if you don't let it get to you, and if you don't believe it can't harm you, and if you're strong, it can't harm you. Those who think too much into it will have a fun time. And finally it stopped when I ended up getting a Christmas tree in my room, because I am a big freak over Christmas, and I love Christmas, and I will put it in my small room and make sure no one has room to move around in my room because of this tree. And they say because it's religious, the tree symbolizes a lot of different things, and I'm not getting into that. I'm not preaching anything at all. I'm not even religious. They say it is a symbolism of religion, and for some reason, after that tree was put in my room that year, the fisherman went away. I mean, he's still here, but he's not as bad, and it's like I have like this angel that watches me, and I feel safer, and I really appreciate that, and but I don't let it get to me anyway, so yeah, that's just one scary story, I guess, to tell you, and don't let it get to you when you experience something like that. Voice it out, because you're probably not alone. Yeah. That was my scary story to tell you guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you do like and subscribe to the channel, because that would be great. And I hope you tell your friends about it, and even if you hate the experience, or you think this story is not the scariest story, tell your friends anyways, and let them sit through this whole thing and experience what you experience and not like it too. So, yeah, have a good night.
Alrighty guys, I really hope you enjoyed that story, because when I was watching it, it got me pretty creeped out there. Amazing story. Thank you so much, Adam, for adding to this. For our second story, it's going to be coming from Jojo. The name of this is going to be called The Student, and it is about a creepy small town legend about a student who falls in love with a teacher and the aftermath that comes. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Jojo, and a couple years back, when my mom and dad were still together, and my mom was a part of this cleaning company. She would go to different buildings and essentially clean the buildings during the summer. And there was one day she went to a local high school, and sometimes I would go with her. And she had told me that there were news articles and news reports online and in the newspaper, and all these different reports of a haunting in that high school, including a few like ghost hunters coming in to film it themselves. And she had told me that the history of this was that there was a teacher back around the 60s, 70s, where she had fallen in love with a male student and had ended up having an affair with him. And after that, she had gotten caught by the staff and, reported and everything. But soon after that, because of the guilt she felt, she had gone to the 4th floor tower and killed herself and hung herself up in the tower. It is said by students and even some faculty, like the superintendent in one of the articles, that the ghost had been named Torchy the Terror because students who claimed to have seen her saw her with really, really red hair. And what people had been saying is that there were scratchings and writings on the walls, and that everyone could hear the moans and the rattling and all these different sounds, the clacking and the stomping from the 3rd floor below. My mom was not very superstitious at all. She was always very blunt, didn't believe in much, and at the time I didn't either. So when I was with her, she had told me about this, and she said a couple nights herself where she was working overnight, she had heard noises. She had heard the moaning and the rattling. And that night, I had actually gone with her to the 4th floor, and the actual tower inside is locked with a padlock. There's a pair of double doors that are just locked down entirely. She herself was not allowed to go in there, but she had said that behind those doors is where she heard all of the noises coming from. And I never heard noises myself, but it was shocking to hear someone who was never superstitious at all, never believing in anything, never once talked about ghosts or anything spiritual at all, to claim that they have heard all of those things that were rumors end up being true, and experiencing them herself. I didn't experience anything, but it did look like there was definitely something sinister behind the doors. The chain was rusty, the lock was rusty, and just everything looked so damaged, and it was completely untouched, as if everybody was scared to go in there.
Alrighty guys, I hope you enjoyed that story. I know that I did. Did you enjoy it? Did you like it?
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and move on to my friend Gabriel, and he's going to be telling you a story called The Hotel. Now this story is about somebody who they worked with who started becoming absent more and more from work and suddenly passed away. Here we go.
Hey, what's going on everyone out there on YouTube? I am the Crazy Gabano, and today I'm going to be sharing a story for Travis Berman and his Horror Corner. So before I begin this video, I really want to thank Travis for allowing me to be part of this video and for being willing to collab with me. So I do appreciate that very much, sir. So hope you like my story. And today I'm going to be talking about something that recently happened to me at work. Not so much in the horror side of things, but this is definitely more of a supernatural kind of thing. Something that happened, as you guys know in life, people come and go, we live and we die. But somehow, some way, some people just, even though they are no longer with us in the real world, they tend to leave their mark and their presence known, even if they're in the afterlife. And that's something that recently happened here with me. So let me share that experience with you guys and hope you enjoy the story. So in case you guys don't know, I work at a hotel here in Las Vegas. I've been working there for almost about 9 years. And I used to have a very interesting, larger-than-life coworker that I used to work with. So when I first started working there, and when I was first introduced to him, he was a very sweet guy, very nice, funny, larger-than-life, very talkative. He was just one of those guys where, like, you can spot him from anywhere, and he will always greet you with a smile, a handshake, and he was just a really cool guy. And at times he would try to like think he was like the big boss ahead, in front of everybody. At times he would try to boss you around, thinking he's the big guy in the place, and he'd try to give everybody a hard time here and there. That's just how he was. He just liked to give people a hard time. Made work a little difficult sometimes, but for the most part, he was a pretty good guy. One of the things he loved to do was singing. He loved singing different songs, and he loved dancing. That's one of the things that people remembered him for. Just his love for singing. And, when you heard him sing, he has a very loud voice. You can hear him from, like, all the way across the hallway. So that's one of those things that he's definitely remembered for. And for about 5 years, I worked with him. We were very cool for the most part. At times we had a lot of disagreements. We bumped heads a few times, but, that's just how it is. But, for 5 years, I worked with him. He was pretty cool. And I remember about 2014, early on 2014, he would stop coming to work a couple times. He would come to work like 2 weeks. He'd be off a week. And I wasn't aware that he recently had some health problems, but I didn't want to get too much into his business. I just told him, hey, if everything's okay, if he needs anything, to let me know. And he said everything's fine, just a little bit of health problems, but nothing too big. So I was just like, okay, I didn't really think too much of it. He's a little sick, he'll be okay. So later on in the year, he started taking more time off, and things kind of looked serious. And he wasn't really as hard-headed as he was before he got sick. He wasn't really getting everyone a hard time like he used to. He was being very nice, more nice, and he was just I don't know, things just kind of seemed different with him, and something didn't feel right. And I remember talking to a couple of workers, like, hey, is everything okay with him? We're just trying to figure out what's wrong, because as much of a nice guy he was very secretive. He didn't really like to let people know about his business. He just kept a lot of things to himself. So, we didn't want to make too much of it, so we're just like, what? Well, let's hope he's okay. And then I remember sometime around the summer of 2014, he recently went to California to meet up with some family. And little did I know, on the way heading back from California, his health problems just got the best of him, and unfortunately he ended up passing sometime around the summer of 2014. But the thing is, no one really told us anything. We were just kind of in speculation, like, oh, did he quit, or has his health problems gotten worse, or maybe he's hospitalized. No one really knew anything, because no one really said anything. So we were all kind of worried to see, like, hey, what's going on with Miguel? Is he okay? And it wasn't until, like, later that year, one of the executives said, yes, unfortunately, due to his health problems, he did pass away, which was very sad. And shortly after he died, I would remember people at work, telling me that they would hear, like, somebody singing, and they would look around, and no one's in the hallway, no one's anywhere, And I'm just kind of like, that's crazy, Even though he's no longer with us, people can kind of hear singing and stuff like that. So I kind of wondered if that was Miguel singing. So I'm just kind of like, okay, well, that seems kind of weird, but people might hear stuff all the time. And I recently had a dream that it was just another day at work with all the guys from work, and Miguel was with us. He was still with us, and I just remember the dream being of us, just hanging out, having a great day. and, you know, just having a couple laughs and stuff like that at work. And then when I woke up, I ended up coming to work that day. It was a Saturday that I came in, and I was in the section that he normally used to cover when he was there. And something that kind of caught me by surprise is that I saw a rollaway, or one of the beds that we deliver to the guests. And I noticed there was a like a runner tray, something that we normally keep our papers in whenever we do deliveries. We write everything down. And I noticed one that seemed kind of old, kind of rickety. So I just kind of picked it up, took a look at it, and I saw something that, I'm not gonna lie, guys, kind of creeped me out. It was a log sheet from Miguel himself. I just thought it was a coincidence. Like, that's kind of crazy, you know. This thing is pretty old, and I took a closer look at it, and I was looking at the name, Miguel Quezada, and I noticed that this was from February of 2011. So this thing was been sitting here for 7 years, which I thought was absolutely crazy. You know, I don't know how it was still there. I thought it would have been thrown away by now, because since the locker that I found it in, you know, has been cleaned up several times, been emptied out and used for different purposes. And I don't know, just kind of creeped me out a little bit to find out that that sheet with his paper still glued onto the tray was still there. And I was just like, holy crap, you know, that really gave me goosebumps. This didn't tell me that Miguel was still with us. I don't know what will. And that was just the thing that kind of scared me, you know. So we just left the tray alone in a secret place, so nobody will bother or anything like that, just for Miguel. May he still continue to rest in peace. And this was my horror corner story. So once again, thank you so much to Travis Berman for allowing me to make this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and you guys have a good one. Later.
Alrighty guys, I hope you enjoyed that story. I know that we enjoyed it very much. I found the story to be incredibly eerie and at the same time really, really sad, and it's something that I'm really happy that he was able to share with all of us. We're going to go ahead and move on to the final tale that we have, which is coming from my buddy Javier over at the Gamers Addict. We're going to go ahead and call this Grandmother's Ghost. Let's go ahead and get started.
I am player 1, and I have a tale for you. Now, a long time ago, when I was a young man, I had a encounter with something supernatural. Well, long before that, my grandmother passed away before I was born. She died of cancer, and I always kept a picture of her in my bedroom wall. Now, I only have one picture of her, and that picture of her, she was so beautiful. Long black hair, blue dress, and I always remembered how my grandfather used to talk about her. So one night I was sleeping, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and during that time my baby brother used to sleep in the room in a crib, and something woke me up that night, and I look up and I thought it was my mom who was in the room, but it wasn't her. It was something looking at my little brother in the crib. And as I called out, because at first I thought it was my mom, it turned around, startled, and it looked at me. And it had the same dress and the long black hair like my grandma in the picture. But her face was like faded. And it scared me immensely. And I looked at it some more, and then it just like faded in thin air. And that's when I knew that what I saw was not normal. So that's my story for Retro Alliances Gaming's Horror Corner.
Alrighty guys, that was the final tale of the four-way door. I hope you all enjoyed the stories. I want to go ahead and personally thank all 4 of you guys for taking the time to get in front of the camera and tell something personal for our channel and for our audience. So thank you, all of you. One thing I want to go ahead and say is if you liked Adam's story and if you are interested in finding out more about what he does, Adam runs his own YouTube channel and he actually makes shows. He does tons of skits and actually ongoing episodes. He's incredibly talented and his shows are really funny and amazing and sometimes really dark. If you want to check it out, you can find it on YouTube at Jaeger Film or Jaeger's Film. I will post a link down below for that one. Also, I want to go ahead and mention Javier, my best friend in the world. He runs a show called The Gamer's Attic. You guys should definitely check that out on YouTube. He is a wonderful family man. He has been going very strong with this show. It's, again, very PG rated and family oriented for everybody, from everything from collecting toys to video games, you know it. If you want to check it out, please click on the link below. And the Crazy Cuban. So if you want to go ahead and you would like to check out Gabriel's channel, go ahead and click the link below to his channel, which is Crazy Cuban. And again, thank you so much, Gabriel, for providing your story. And of course, Jojo, which I don't know if she actually has a channel that she runs anything on, but I believe it's called Jojo Eats Flan. Thank you so much. So thank all 4 of you for coming together and making this all possible. I hope all of you guys enjoyed this. Please stay tuned for more stuff coming up. And as always, my friends, until next time.